Sometimes it seems strange. You see a huge queue and you go, are we ever going to get home tonight? But the other side of that is it's encouraging to see that there's so many people still want to come for a shot in the train and remember their childhoods.
There is a sight and smell of steam locomotives that seem to attract many people of all ages, I may say. It always attracts attention when there's steam running in the park along with the diesels. There's always people who wish to be pulled round the track by the steam locomotive.
Despite engineering background, you need to speak to people that have built a steam locomotive while you're doing one yourself. You need their help. Similarly, in the cases where they don't have answers, we always sit and bounce off each other and come up with ideas which may or may not be right, but that's what it's all about. And of course there's the banter that goes with it sometimes.
What we do is we have workshop facilities to try and give people in the local area who are involved in model engineering of any sort, whether it be steam engines, petrol engines, it doesn't have to be trains. We've got one new member and it's an engine for a steamboat which he's trying to get up and running, or we have another member who just wants to come for the camaraderie. The club is one part of it. The railway is the other part which finances all that we do within the clubhouse.
The club started as the Rolls-Royce Society of Model Engineering, and it was part of the welfare arm of Rolls-Royce. However, by the 1990s, all of the Rolls-Royce employees had retired, so that we thought it would be wiser to change the name, and it became, in the 1990s, the Paisley Society of Model Engineers. And although most of the people in the association are indeed professional engineers, not all of them are. We welcome people who are not necessarily professional engineers, of course.
People were working in big engineering firms. They learned all their skills in there, working on lathes, milling machines, all that kind of thing, and they were transferred over to the hobbies. We probably find that if you went back far enough originally, a lot of parts were getting built in the factories at lunch times and things like this.
The real full-size Britannia class, the first of them, which was indeed called Britannia, went into service in 1951. The one which I have, it was built from the works drawings by a very talented electrical engineer from Renfrew by the name of Tom Adlington, and he had this model running in 1952, which is essentially only 1 year after the full size was running on the track.
What we're doing just now is to put the locomotive into steam, and to do that we light a fire in the firebox here and draw the air through the fire using that fan which is on the chimney. Once we get to a certain pressure, 40 psi in the boiler, we can then use steam from the boiler to keep the fire going by drawing air through it. We're not quite there, but I think we're getting there, but we're not quite at 40. In addition to that, what Rick's been doing is oiling round anything that moves, essentially.
On a ship we used to say, if it moves, oil it, and if it doesn't move, paint it, but we used to get confused. Inside there's a thing like a nozzle, and what he's on about, you put steam to this, and it makes a jet of steam come up, and that sucks air right through the boiler, so it makes the fire hotter, you get more air through the fire.
You can't scale everything down. You try and scale everything down as much as possible, but for example, boiler tubes, if you scaled them down to a 16 full size, they'd be too small for the gases to go through, and the gases through them are the same as the gases on the real thing, and they would just choke up, so we have to put larger tubes in out of scale. Similarly, things like frames, the main frame or the chassis, if you like, if you scale that down, it wouldn't be strong enough for the model. To summarise, you want it as realistic looking as possible, but we have to make allowances here and there to make the thing run.
In terms of steam locomotives, the Britannia has been a mainstay of our passenger hauling because it has the power to do so, so it can usefully back up the more common day-to-day locomotives, which are diesel, which are easier to prepare and easier to take off the track at the end of the day without having to empty the boilers, clean them out, etc., which you have to do ideally with a steam locomotive. It's a very attractive track in an attractive situation. It's well known now within the community, and they seem to have an interest in it as well. So we have an obligation in a way to try to keep it running for as long as we can. The numbers that are exposed to engineering in all its forms at a young age are diminishing, and therefore the number that we get through to join us in the club tend to be people of an older age group, shall we say. Whether this club will continue for another 50 years, I'm not so sure.
Most new members are retired or have been retired for years. Actually, to get somebody in under 60 is we welcome with open arms and shackle them to a bench so that they can't leave.
There are people in the club that are not engineers, but they come out and help on the days that we're running trains for the kids and adults, and they drive the train, and there's all sorts of people involved, and we welcome yet more.